Hey guys, Scott here, Who's Your Chef 70. Kind of doing a little woodworking. This is my start of this new adventure. Making some pins, working on some pin blanks. I've been watching Bob from RJB WoodTurner on YouTube, and some of the others, Zach over at Woodwerks, and getting some ideas, and thought, well, that might be something fun and interesting to get my mind off of things, and who knows, might turn a pipe or two once I get a little more proficient. But don't tell the FDA that. So I could have started out with something really simple. They sent me some simple blanks in the kit that I bought. They were of course trying to get one out here real quick to show you is so they sent me some basic pin blanks in the kit that I bought, but I figured I didn't want to go basic with anything, so I took some scrap wood that I had that I was making some cutting boards with. That's another video I'll show you sometime. And I cut out some little 1/8 inch slabs out of each one in here and kind of show you what I did, and then I glued them together and let them set for a while. This is what I come up with. Little sandwiched kind of thing. I want to see how it turns out. If it turns out good, I'll post the video. If not, you never saw this. This never happened. So then I don't have, I'm just kind of starting getting my woodworking tools and equipment. I've got my lathe, and I've got a nice saw. I'll do a review on the saw here in a little bit. So I kind of implemented my own little drill press, and I'll post that video of how I drilled these out. I'm going to go ahead and put the tubes in here and start turning. I don't have a end trimmer, a tube trimmer, or whatever they call it. So again, at RJB WoodTurners, I've looked back, it's been, I think it was a couple of years ago, he posted a video on how to make a sanding jig for your faceplate. Just take a scrap wood, and he used a glue stick, but I put some wood glue on this. Just glued up some sandpaper on here. I've not poked a hole through there yet. Poke a hole through there like that, and then when you put your mandrel, your pin mandrel on there, you can use it to guide and keep your blank square as you're sanding the end of it down. So I'll try to do some videos. I don't have any rig set up yet for doing some lathe videos, but we'll see how that goes, and maybe I can figure out a position here in this little space that I've got to set up a camera on my tripod and do some turning videos. So stay tuned. Okay, so this is my little makeshift workshop here. This is my first time turning anything, and we're working on a pin blank. Really don't have a lot of the proper tools, so I'm just kind of makeshifting this. I need a drill press or something, jaws chuck, but I set this up, and I'm just kind of using the clamp to hold it from spinning. I've got the little spur drive there, pushing it in, and this is improvisation at its best. So, kind of give you an idea. And I'll turn this. As far as I can, and then I'll flip it over and hopefully match it up. If I've measured correctly, it should line right up. Okay, so this is my sanding jig. I've got my pin mandrel. I'm just sanding this flush until I get to the end of the brass tube. Isn't this fun? Okay, so I've got my blanks chucked up here and doing a little bit of turning. Wanted to make sure I did a little bit of it correct before I did the video, but thought I'd do some of it on camera so you could see. I have my assistant, my son's here. He's running the shop vac, trying to keep things a little clean, but you know how that works. So let's give her a shot. Okay, so I just want to mention one thing real quick. This is my first time doing any wood turning, so if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Alright, well, I'm going to continue to turn this down, and I'll be back here in just a little bit. Okay, so I've got it turned down, I think, to where I can start sanding. Looks pretty good, at least for the first time. I didn't see any major issues with it, so we're going to start sanding through the grits, and I'll be back to show you here in just a little bit. Okay, so I sanded down through 220, 320, and 400. I noticed right in here I've got like a little divot. I'm going to try to fill that in with my CA glue when I do a finish. Right in here I've got a little issue, but so far I'm pleased. Everything's looking good. Okay, so I'm working on my finish now. I'm using some CA glue here. I've done 3 coats. That's a 4th. I need to get some of those bushings with the HDPE plastic that has the non-stick. I'm hoping these bushings here come off pretty easy. But I'm just going to continue. I want to put about 8 coats on there, and then I'm going to start working with the micro mesh and start cleaning it up. Okay, so I'm down to the finishing. I'm running through my grits here on my pads. I put 6 coats of the CA glue on. I let it dry for about an hour or so before I came in to start doing some polishing. I ran through the pads here, and I really didn't like the way that it looked. Sorry. I really didn't like the way it looked, so I hit it with the 400 grit again, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. Now I'm running through the pads again. And we'll see. I might I want to see what it looks like. I'm feeling some rough spots right in here. I might do a couple more coats of CA on it. All depends on what it looks like. I still have that divot right there, but first time turning a pin, I don't think it looks too awfully bad. It'll be good enough for me to use. So, okay, so I've got this kind of turned down here. I'm happy with the way it looks. Not bad for a first attempt. Now, at this point I've seen people put plastic polish on it. I'm going to use something a little different. This is something that I made up. Oh, it's been a while back. I just call it my wood butter. It's all natural. It's a base of local all natural beeswax, and then I've got some other ingredients in there, but it's all, I use it when I'd made cutting boards, but it's a nice creamy paste, but I used it on cutting boards to season them and get a nice base to them. And I thought, well, you know what, I'd just give it a shot on the pins. I'll put a little bit on here, and then I'll get that in the frame there. I'll put a little bit on here and then kind of buff it out, and we'll see what it looks like after I get done with that. Okay, so for my first time turning a pin, I don't think I did that bad of a job. Here's how it turned out. Yeah, I did a kind of a segmented pin. I did run into a couple of problems. First thing was used the wrong bushings for the pin that it was. So I had the trim ring for the one that I did use in a gunmetal, and everything else is the brass or gold tone. But all in all, I just think it turned out. I think it's turned out fairly well. I'm pleased with it for like I said, for a first attempt. I can only get better from here, right? So that's my first adventure. I hope you enjoyed it.